So one of the best parts of my job is that I get to look out into the market. And I get to look at the trends that are affecting you today and the things that are lurking just over the horizon. And so I am really excited to share some of the data we have for you today. As Ron mentioned, we talked to 2,000 of your peers across every industry, geography, to get a sense of where we are right now in the moment Amanda just described. But before we do, I want to build off something Amanda just talked about. Amanda has said a lot of memorable lines since I joined Cority, but there's one that really stuck with me. She said that most people, most of you, join this industry for a reason. And that reason often has a name. Mine is Sydney. This is my 5-year-old daughter, Sydney. She was the giggliest, curly-haired girl, always happy, always optimistic. Her famous phrase was, best day ever, anything we ever did, this is the best day ever. Sydney was killed in a crosswalk about a block from our house by a commercial truck driver in 2023. She was on her way to art class. She was on her scooter. She was with her cousin, her mother, her brother. It was a tragic end to a beautiful life. In that moment, my understanding of my work changed, and my understanding of your work forever changed. And so I knew from that moment, though I didn't quite know what to call it, I had to be part of this work. So you know me in this work as a Cority executive, and I do love doing that every day. Outside of work, since my daughter died, we do a lot of work in the community. So my wife and I started a nonprofit. We have an alliance of families like us from across the state of Massachusetts, where I'm from. And we work on the problem of traffic violence. And for those who don't know, traffic violence is a huge problem here in the US. It kills 45,000 people a year. It's the #2 killer of kids like Sid. It is a problem in plain sight, and yet what is most tragic about it is it's solvable. There are other countries that are far, and some of you might be from them, that are far ahead of us. Places like Denmark, Japan. Their kids are regularly out in their communities, walking to school every day, fearless. Not in the US. And so we do a lot of work on that. There's a picture of me here. I'm at the State House in Boston. We have a big rally there every year. And I was preparing for this speech and this picture here. And I was looking for a parallel. I said, what's another problem? ChatGPT, what's another problem that was in this situation where it was a big problem where people were dying and it was solvable? And I realized that problem was in plain sight. It was right here in the work you do in the room. And what I learned, and what you might all know, is that if you go back to the early 1900s, tens of thousands of people died at work. It was accepted as normal. Hundreds of thousands were tragically injured, forever changing their lives and the trajectory of their families. It was accepted. But then things started happening. There was a fire in Ohio. There was an explosion in an oil rig in the Baltic. There was a very famous mining accident in West Virginia. Right as TV was becoming popular, those things were plastered across, and all of a sudden, we said, this is a problem that we need to solve. And so you fast forward. OSHA was born, regulations, the programs you all do came about. Now we've gone through several technology iterations, right? We had on-premise software, we had SaaS software, we had IoT, now we're in the age of AI. Progress, progress, progress. The impact is amazing. If you correct for population from the early 1900s to today, just in the US, the people in this room and the technology you use are part of saving 150,000 lives in the US alone. Countless more around the world. Millions of injuries, millions of future families, as Amanda talked about, intact. So give yourselves a round of applause for the progress you've made. The progress we've made. Thank you. I am honored to be part of this work, but what I know about all of you is that you're not satisfied. You're not satisfied. That one death, one injury, one environmental breach drives you crazy, right? I had conversations with people about it last night. So that's exactly why I know this moment we're about to talk about is built for you. Because as Amanda talked about, this is a moment that we can finally move from responding to risks to getting out ahead, to be ahead. Always ahead is the theme of the weekend. We can be ahead. And that is why I think I've seen such a change since I came here about a year ago. So I joined 2 weeks before Cority Connect last year. And sat here, this photo behind me was one of the discussions, and the discussion on AI was there, but it was vague. I talked to a lot of you last year, and there was a lot of hope that this thing could make an impact on our business. I remember one guy on the stage commenting that AI can find in seconds what every safety person in the world couldn't find in a whole day or a week. So that was the possibility, but it was vague. Flash forward, the other picture back here, we sat down with groups of senior leaders across Europe in the fall, and we asked them first for their list of AI use cases that were on their wish list, and they filled the board. We asked them for one, to be clear. We said, put your priority AI use case on the board, and they absolutely filled the board with use cases. And so I remember a couple comments. One of the health leader from one of the largest energy companies in the world said, Eric, we have a long list of things we know we need to do to improve in our operations. We're just waiting for the technology to catch up. But then the discussion was about, okay, that's not easy. It's not just flipping on a light switch. So someone who's from one of the top 5 hotel chains in the country said, we do too, but how do we ensure that people can trust it? And then I sat down at dinner and I talked to a guy who runs one of the largest private safety companies in the world. They send people out into war zones and all these dangerous areas. He said, man, this is such a huge opportunity. I still manage my safety program in Google Sheets. So there is a journey that we need to go on today, and today is about understanding that journey. And so that's why I'm excited to share where we are and where we're going. So today I'm going to talk about what we learned from those 2,000 people we talked about, the biggest 5 insights that we took away to give you a sense of where we are, where we need to go, and what the leaders are doing best. Tomorrow, Emily and Carrie are going to come up here. They're going to talk about the model underneath it, which is going to be a tool for all of you that you'll get in coming weeks that will allow you to benchmark where you are, understand where you're mature, where you're not, and what needs to happen to make your programs more successful in this age. All right, so let's get to it. First and foremost, we talked about how popular AI is and how the passion is there, the appetite is there. One of the things that immediately jumped out to me was this, that the appetite is so strong that 95% of the people that we talked to said shadow AI, meaning off book, off the record, out of compliance, is being used in EHS programs today. 95%. 65% of those people, 45% of those people said that it's being used widely. Only 5% had control. So in an industry that is built on risk controls, we are taking risks to apply this and learn what it can do for us. And so here's the tension. We asked those same people, what would be important for AI to work in your organization in EHS and be successful? They listed security, number 1, transparency, expertise from the vendor, human oversight. So all that is governance. I need governance and control, and the humans not just in the loop, but in command. None of that is happening in shadow AI, right? And so that is the tension that we need to solve for. So why take that risk? Why do it, right? So we ask people why, like what is the most exciting thing about it? And we asked them specifically, what could you do better if you had better insights and automation from AI? And they pointed to not the opportunity that lives in the reports that you get today, but in the opportunity that's in the next 10 minutes in your operation. So the things that fall between the cracks today, the real-time decision, so a schedule change that's unexpected, tools and PPE, knowing what tool to use, what PPE to use for a specific scenario in the moment to make a decision. A communication that gets dropped as 2 shifts change and something doesn't get communicated that leads to a spiral of events. Those are the opportunities in front of us that traditionally haven't been addressed with software. Because for a long time, software, let's face it, has been looking back, right? It's been rear view mirror, incident reports, audit records, lagging indicators, static processes. AI creates an opportunity to do something different. You give a person in the moment, closest to the work, the information they need to act. To do that though, probably got to do stuff differently underneath. And that came through loud and clear. So this trend, not a surprise, but what we learned is that it's something that's already happening. We stood up here last year and we talked about how this industry is starting to consolidate. People are moving to more solutions on one platform, pull their data together. The data absolutely backs that up. 94% are saying now AI is influencing their tech decisions, meaning I'm making a tech decision based on the need to apply AI. That's not just the AI piece that is saying that is an influencer of how I'm buying technology. 62% of folks said that that is accelerating their interest in platform-based solutions and accelerating their consolidation on those solutions. But again, the tension, only 85%. So if you're sitting out there saying, oh, wow, I've only got one solution here, one solution there, no, don't worry. 85% of people are in that same bag. But that's where we are. Because, let's face it, EHS grew up fragmented, like a lot of software, right? One thing for safety, one for health, environmental, each with its own data, its own workflows, its own sophisticated business rules. That's what the data tells us. The AI consolidation, though, means that consolidation stops being a nice to have and starts being a prerequisite in the age of AI. And so if you look at the people who are furthest ahead, right? So not the furthest ahead on AI, because it's probably way too early in that story to have a point of view on that, but the furthest ahead across all the vectors we measured in EHS technology maturity, which includes things like people and process, said what are they doing differently? And how are they approaching this moment differently? And what stuck out to us is that the innovators aren't focused on sprinkling AI on top of what they've got. They're building it from the bottom up. They're focused on simultaneously building a strong foundation and finding AI solutions that align with that foundation. And in fact, they're 3 times more likely to already be running on a modern platform. There's lots of you in the room. If you're here, you're in a good place, you're among good company. 3 times more likely to be on a modern platform. So what they're just further ahead in their journey. They're 4 times more likely to have made AI a strategic priority. So not a side project, a pilot, but at the executive level with their business partners to have a voice, to Ron's say, to have a voice, to be able to communicate to the right people to create it a priority. Okay. If that's the future, I got to consolidate, I got to use AI, but aren't the AI robots going to replace us all? Well, turns out no, they're not. So we asked people, as I said, what was most important in this era? And the data said one thing loud and clear: industry expertise, the collective knowledge of this community in this room is still king. It always has been. It's even more pertinent now in the age of AI. Specifically, we asked what they were selecting for. They listed vendor domain expertise. You listed explainability of the AI outputs. You listed human oversight. Those all clustered together to say that expertise is still the secret sauce. And that's not a new thing. That's a 40-year trend that's showing up right now in this very modern moment. I worked at a company before this where part of what we did, we were an app development platform, and we had a piece of EHS, and it always fell a little short. I saw it firsthand, that you need the expertise to make the software work. You cannot pull them apart. The regulations are too specific, the business rules are too complex. AI doesn't change that, it just raises the stakes. So the survey confirms what you already know. Expertise is not a nice to have, it's the thing you're selecting for. Technology, what we're doing at Cority, technology is the vehicle. The expertise is what's gonna make it work. It's gonna make it run. And that's what's in this room. Okay, so here's where we are in the moment. Big appetite for this, to the fact that we're actually using it in widespread and somewhat dangerous ways across our organization. We think the opportunity is on the real-time decisions, being able to move fast. That's accelerating consolidation. Because we know this AI is not like other technologies I've seen. I've been doing software for 25 years. AI is not like anything else we've experienced. Because it doesn't just make things iteratively better, it transforms them. So it's no coincidence it's driving consolidation. The pace setters, the people ahead, are prioritizing that consolidation, and industry expertise is still king. That's what the survey tells us. So the question is, where do you go now? And I think back to those early days. I remember right after Sid died, we said we got to do something about it. And we sat down and we said we're going to create a nonprofit. And there was a moment where I was really scared. I was like, we were doing something big and scary and a moment of trauma, and it's something I've never done. And a friend, an advisor, and I said, what do I do? What do I do? I'm kind of stuck. And she said, Eric, do what you've always done and just start. And so that's my guidance to everyone as you think about the next 2 days and what you're doing from wherever you are to wherever you need to go, there's a path. All you need to do is start. That first step. And I'll leave you with one Sid story before I hand it off. So she was, for years, Sid wanted to have a purple birthday party. For 2 years, her 5th birthday party was going to be purple. A week before, she said, Daddy, I want a rainbow birthday party because it's all the colors of my friends and family and the people I love. So we had to flip. We had to do a quick 1-week change to get to a rainbow birthday party. And after that day, I was like, well, how'd you like it? How was the rainbow? And she said, Daddy, that was the best day ever. And that's really where that statement came from. And so before I leave, before I hand it off, I want you to make one commitment to me. I want you to commit to make this day, our day together, this community, all our collective colors, the best day ever. Can you all say it? Best day ever. Let's do it one more time. Best day ever. Thank you.